Now, after successfully bringing insider trading charges against the likes of Raj Rajaratnam and former Goldman Sachs director Rajat Gupta, there's speculation in Washington that Indian-American Preet Bharara, the politically savvy U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, might be tapped to be the next U.S. Attorney General if President Obama wins re-election. NDTV put the question across to Preet Bharara, whom Time magazine counts among the world's 100 most influential people himself. In an exclusive interview, Preet Bharara tells NDTV why he loves his job as public prosecutor and why he's dedicated to public service.
What's next for you? I'm sure you get this question a lot. What will Preet Bharara do next? Your predecessors, Rudy Giuliani, Eliot Spitzer, well, let's not talk about Spitzer for now, but they've gone into political offices. Have you ever thought about that?
I like doing this job, and all I'm thinking about is this job. I guess possibly based on this conversation, medical school, but I doubt it. I think I'll stay doing this as long as I can.
You can't go back to school, but you do spend a lot of time with youngsters because I know you speak to law students. A lot of these kids, especially the law students, could be making more than you.
Did you say that on television? So now my mom and dad are going to watch that and they're going to worry again.
Do you not think about making money?
I just want to do this job for as long as I can. I was in private practice. I was actually in private practice for 6 years before I came and became a line prosecutor in this office. But I've been in public service now for about 12 and a half years. If I could find a way to do it for the rest of my life, I think I would. You're not a pauper when you're in public service, although there's some sacrifices you make. I'd like to do this as long as I can, and I go and talk to law students and business students in part to encourage them to spend some part of their life in public service as well. These are people who are very, very privileged, who have the best educations, and I believe the proposition that a lot of people espouse, which is to whom much is given, much is expected, and the best lawyers in the country and the best business minds in the country and in the world, this is true in America and it's also true in India, I think owe it to their country and to their community and their society to spend some part of their time giving something back, whether it's by teaching or whether it's by becoming a prosecutor or whether it's by doing charitable work. I don't think we want to live in a world where everybody just decides they want to make the maximum possible salary they can based on the high order education that they got. That's not a great place to live. So hopefully people get some of that message and they see that not only can it be an amazingly rewarding thing to do and gratifying thing to do, but it's also, it's also fun. Well,
it's interesting because you went to Harvard and you speak to students from law schools across the board. Rajat Gupta, for example, is also an alumni, but it's two very different products that have come out of university. So when you speak to law students, they have certain choices of where they can go in life. So what do you tell them when you speak to them?
Yeah, I say don't break the law. Obviously, one of the things you do when you go to speak at law schools and also business schools, I speak at business schools quite a bit, and to to business people, and I say not only is it important that you stay on the straight and narrow, but it's also really important that if you're in a place where you see wrongdoing happening, even if you're an ethical and honest person and you're not involved in that conduct, you need to say something about it. I mean, a lot of the scandals that we have seen, and this is true in the United States, and I'm sure it's true in India, although I'm not familiar with them, a lot of the scandals we see could have been stopped when they were small, and people could have been held accountable earlier, and a lot of people would have saved a lot of money, and a lot of people would have been saved a lot of grief if really good people who went to good schools and knew better said something about them earlier. And we see time and time again scandals that were allowed to go on for years and years and years, including some of the biggest Ponzi schemes in the history of the world, and were not stopped when there are people in a position to stop them. So part of the reason to go to law schools and business schools is to encourage people to spend some time in public service, to encourage them to make sure that they, always remain within the bounds of the law, but also to encourage them to make sure that they never find themselves being in a position of being enablers of other people who are doing bad things, because there's a responsibility to make sure that not only, you're doing the right thing, but the people that are around you are doing the right thing also.
Thank you so much for your time. Whether or not you go into political office or you go into a private law firm, you've certainly made your mark here in the US. Thank you so much. Thank you.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.